Hey everyone, good morning, good morning. I'm back in Naples, Florida. Coach Curtis Phelan here, results life and business coach for over 26 years. One of the founding coaches of the Anthony Robbins Coaching Organization, and I've been on my own now for just over 20 years. Um, so, what are we going to talk about today? Just kidding. What's the title? Title is How to Get Your First 10 Paying Clients, Business Coaches, without a big audience or paid ads. Now, today's live might relate to coaches in general. Just, maybe alter it slightly to whatever you coach people on, consult people on. So I'm more of a business coach slash consultant. So I've gone beyond just coaching and leaving it up to, the person to figure out or get them in a peak state and overcome their, mental blocks to, figure it out themselves. With business owners, they need more guidance, direction, and specifically, as a business coach, you need to make sure you can put at least minimum 2 to 3 times what your clients pay you each month, or it makes no sense. It's not a return on investment for them. No matter how great of a coach you are, if you can't do that consistently, you're not going to retain clients, which I think is one of the major challenges for coaches out there. So today, I want to talk to coaches who are still trying to get to their first real wave of paying clients, okay? Because I see a lot of coaches making this much harder than it needs to be. We're being kind of duped because a lot of internet marketers started selling using the popularity of coaching to sell their info products. Okay, now they're adding an aspect of coaching to that. It's okay, but you don't need to build funnels and ads and things like that to get your first 10 paying clients. That's where a lot of coaches are getting kicked out of the game because those things take time, energy, money to develop. So you don't need 10,000 followers to get 10 paying coaching clients, all right? You need 10 specific conversations with 10 specific people who have the problem that you solve, right? So here's the simplest roadmap that I know to make those conversations happen. So, like I said, I started over 26 years ago, almost 27 years now, as one of the founding coaches for Tony Robbins. Tony personally recruited me, trained me, taught me how to get my first clients literally on the street. Like, here's how to do it. Everyone stand up, empty your pockets, come back with a client, or don't come back. That's the training that I went through for 28 or 29 days, 28 days, I believe it was, with Tony. Okay, that's how I learned to coach, and that's how he got his first clients. Just helping people on the street, helping people that he was coming across. Okay, and then eventually to his events and on and on and on to where people see coaching today. And I've been working with specifically business owners ever since day one. Well, yeah, day one with Tony, because a couple of my first clients were business owners. So the most common thing I see coaches do when they're just starting out is they're focusing on building an audience before they focus on having conversations. And, it's not our fault. I've been there many times because you see all the hype and the stuff on the internet now with development of social media. I mean, when I started coaching, none of this existed, right? And my coach, probably for over 20 years, it was all done on the phone or face-to-face, okay? The telephone, not Zoom or anything like this, right? So a lot of this is due to either confusion or fear or doubt or uncertainty, okay? And typically anything done from a place of fear or uncertainty or doubt is always the wrong decision, right? So, and it's not, like I said, it's not someone's fault if they're doing these things and they're spending months trying to develop a community and a relationship and all that stuff. It's just what they think they need to do. So what happens is they spend months building their brand, writing content. Now, don't get me wrong, this is important to do because eventually you want to develop that. Okay, but it's not how you get your first 10 clients. You'll be out of the game before you know it because of the time and energy and money that it requires to build that. It could be months and months and months and months before you get a client. Okay, so this is honest. This is the truth. If anyone tells you any different, they're most likely lying. Okay, they're trying to take your money. All right, so you need to get to your first 10 clients before you start doing a lot of those advanced things. But you also can start, a little bit because it takes time. You can do a little bit, but don't rely on that for clients. It's going to take some time. So a lot of people, so anyways, we'll get into this. So a lot of people, they spend their months, right, building their brand, writing content, growing their following, and then they wonder why they don't have any clients, right? So they feel like, oh, this doesn't work. I'm not good enough. All these things that creep into our heads, right? So the reason is simple. Clients come from conversations. Let me say that again. Clients come from conversations. You have to have conversations. Conversations come from personal outreach. I hate to tell you, coaches, you have to reach out. You have to sell. You have to know how to prospect and reach out and connect with people. Now, you don't have to be a pitchy, hypey salesperson. Let's get that straight. But, there's different ways to sell. Sell from service, right? If you can't do that, you can't help anybody, okay? So audience building's great, but it's a long-term strategy. So you want to implement it, but implement that as your long-term strategy. Don't invest all your time and energy and all of that focus in the beginning of that. It's not gonna pay off for a while. It will eventually. I have a friend here, Ray Higgin. I'll give a plug to Ray. He's amazing. He's awesome. And, he was in network marketing, okay? And, I'm not going to go through details, but basically, he did all not cold, but warm and cold outreach his first year to get to, his first million in that industry. But at the same time, he was slowly doing videos and building this stuff, and now then eventually it comes from that, okay? So he didn't put all his energy, time, and focus on that, but he was consistent with it. So that's key. You want to be consistent, doing a little bit each day, but then put all your other energy into having conversations. The fastest way to have a conversation with a business owner is to get in front of a business owner, right? So how do we do this? So, that long-term strategy is just not going to pay the bills in 2 months. Right? Like your first month, 2 months, maybe even 3 months at least, it's just not going to, right? Unless you're already famous and people know who you are and now you're on social media, it's not going to happen, okay? I've never seen it happen, okay? Anyone that did, maybe they invested a lot of money to get it to happen. I don't know. But I know thousands of coaches and it just doesn't work out. So anyway, let's get this going. So today I want to give you the simplest possible roadmap to your first 10 clients. Here's the roadmap in plain, simple steps. Step 1, you must get very clear. You might have heard of this before, okay, but get very clear on exactly one type of person or one type of business that you can help and exactly what result you can help them get. So that might need a little, you might need to do a little research. You might need to, and one of the great ways to get clients is to interview business owners. And I got my first 10 clients by interviewing business owners. We have a script that we use, and I reached out and I interviewed business owners for my next book, and voila, right? But through the interview, the script that we use, at the end of the interview, they always ask me, can you do this for my business? And then, sure, when you have 45 minutes and we'll dive into your business, I'll show you how to double the profit in your business without spending any additional money on marketing or advertising. That's my approach, okay? But that's how you get clients fast, okay? But one specific type of business or person with one specific problem. What's their biggest problem, okay, that you can solve, that you can solve, okay? That's the key. So, for example, I help restaurant owners. I'm just making this up, okay? I help restaurant owners who are doing over $500,000 in revenue, but taking home less than 10% of that. Or I help life coaches in their first year who cannot consistently get clients at over $1,000 per client, something like that. Okay, so like I said, use that template and create it as based on who you help and what you help them achieve. Okay, so the more specific you are, the easier everything that follows becomes. Okay, that's why that's the foundation. I talked about in a video the other day when I was up in Massachusetts. But anyway, so step 2 is make a list. I know this sounds crazy, but make a list. It works. Okay, make a list of every person in your personal and professional network who might match that description or know someone who matches that description. There's a few approaches here. I'll just touch on one, but there's a few. Okay, so this list, it should have at least 50 people, if not 100. At least 50. And you're like, I don't know 50 people. You do. Trust me, you do. Okay, just your mind might be blocking you. All right, with a little help, you could probably come up with 100, 200, 300 people. All right. So write their names down. This is like basic, simple stuff, but no one's willing to do it. They want it the easy, push a button route. Doesn't exist. Okay, it just doesn't exist. Don't stop chasing it. Okay. Step 3: reach out personally to every single person on that list with not a pitch, not with the intention to sell them, with genuine sincerity. A specific message that says something like this, right? Like, hi, Sarah, I've been thinking about you. Now, you want to alter this part, but, I work specifically with restaurant owners who want to significantly increase their profitability, right? I don't know if this is something you're thinking about right now, but if it is, I'd love to buy you coffee and hear about what's going on in your business that I might be able to help you with, right? Not a sales pitch, just a conversation. I want to have a conversation with you, okay? So I've used this before where I'll tell a business owner, I can show you how to put an additional $100,000 in profit in your pocket this year without spending any additional money on marketing or advertising. Would you willing to let me buy you a cup of coffee to show you how, right? Give me 15 minutes, I'll show you how. Another one I've used is, would you be willing to give me, sit down with me for 45 minutes and I'll find that money in your business? And if I don't, I'll buy you lunch or whatever, right? Something like that. So you get the idea. That's where your first 10 clients are going to come from, typically, okay? So note that this message, it doesn't describe your program, your methodology. It's not complicated. Your price, definitely not, okay? It just offers a conversation. Let's have a conversation and be very genuine, authentic, and upfront with them. Don't try to trick them. Hey, I want to meet for coffee. And then you nail them when they're at the coffee shop, right, with this thing, because then you're in, what? It begins with A, ends with hole, okay? So step 4 is have those conversations, right? So you write the list, then you contact each person on the list, then you have the conversations, okay? That's the next step. That's step 4, right? Or I missed a step. Yeah, step 1 was get very clear, right? Step 2 is make the list. Step 3, you get it, right? Step 3 is reach out. Step 4 is actually have the conversations. All right, got to have the conversations. The more conversations you have, the more money you're going to make in your business. All right. Your only goal in these conversations is to understand their situation. Okay, got to think about this. Your goal is not to sell them, not to close them, not to influence and persuade them. I used to do all that stuff. Okay, and it can work but it's too complicated in the beginning. All right, so your only goal is to have these conversations, and having these conversations is to understand them, understand their situation, and genuinely assess whether you can help them or if you can't. And if you can, right, you owe them. You have an obligation to share briefly how you can help them, right? What your coaching looks like, and make a simple offer. If you can't, refer them to someone who can. This is how business is built, okay? If I can't help you, I know someone that can. Pretty simple, right? Step 5, and that's a quick tip. It's one of the strategies I use is joint ventures, creating joint ventures. Some people work with business owners and they can't solve their problems, so they create joint venture partnerships with other businesses that can solve their problems. They don't just say, oh, no, I can't help you, right? They say, oh, you know what, but I know I know Joe, or I know Jim, or I know Mary, or I know Nancy. They're great at helping businesses do that. Let me get you connected. Okay, that's how businesses develop. Step 5, you need to follow up with everyone who expressed interest but didn't immediately start or have a conversation with you, right? People are busy, right? Most sales happen after the second, third, or fourth, or even fifth contact, all right? But you don't want to hammer them, pressure them, push them, make them feel guilty, any of that nonsense. Just stay friends with them, stay consistent with them, stay in contact with them. It's a simple personal follow-up, maybe every week, every 2 weeks, to keep the conversation alive, right? Keep building that relationship until the timing is right for them. Might not be the timing is right, okay? So that's the entire roadmap to your first 10 clients, okay? And if you want to go deeper, it's not really complicated, but it requires consistent personal outreach and genuine conversations. I don't know if I've ever shared this with you guys, but I know this gentleman, Larry Mercer in Texas. He was the top RE/MAX agent in Texas. And his goal to his key to success was to make 3 new friends every day. That was his goal. Nothing fancy, nothing special. I need to get up and go out and go to the coffee shop and go here and go there, go shopping, and make 3 new friends every day that knew what I did. That's it. Pretty simple. And the guy was the top RE/MAX agent in Texas. Okay, so or at least the Houston area. I believe it was Texas though. All right. Now, the most common mistakes at this stage. All right. Let me tell you 3 most common mistakes coaches make when trying to get their first clients. Mistake 1 is waiting until everything's perfect before reaching out. They want to have the website done and the packages created and the testimonials collected and the social media all built. None of it's required really to have a conversation, right? You can be working on it while you're having conversations. The key is conversations. So you can start having conversations today with the knowledge and experience you already have. If you've learned something to help a business owner, okay, if you're a business coach or whatever you do, okay, you can start having conversations today. Today, okay? The program or your program can be built as you go. So many coaches create their first real program alongside helping their first clients, which means it's perfectly designed for that type of client, right? You're building it as you're helping this person, figuring out what do they need. Oh, maybe that's not a fit for them, so what else do they need? And you put the program together, and they basically help you build it, your ideal client, right? Mistake 2 is making the initial outreach feel like a sales pitch, okay? If the first message someone gets from you says anything about your prices, your packages, or your program, it will feel like a sales pitch, and most people won't respond to that, okay? So the first message should only do one thing. Open a door to a conversation. Hey, you got 5 minutes? I got something I can run by you. Okay, what is it, right? If someone's interested in talking, that's when you can, learn about their situation and eventually share how you might help, okay? Mistake 3 is giving up after 1 or 2 attempts. Most coaches send one message. They don't get a respond, and they assume the person's not interested. This doesn't work. This is a waste of time. Right? But most people are just simply busy, right? They're just busy. They're getting flooded with, imagine how you're getting hit every day with all this stuff, right? So a gentle follow-up every week or every couple weeks says something like, I just wanted to make sure that this didn't get buried in your inbox, or, hey, I don't know if you saw my text, right? Not pushy pressure stuff, right? So let me know if a conversation would be useful, right? Significantly increases your response rate without feeling pushy. Just let me know if a conversation would be, useful. Or Ray that I talked about, he says something like, what does he say? It's okay if it's not, no big deal, right? It's how he ends his messages. But these three mistakes are avoidable, and avoiding them will dramatically increase the number of conversations you have on any given week. So if you're a coach who wants to build a solid client base, here are three specific ways I can help you, okay, if you want help. First, I'm going to be doing a free workshop here in July in a couple of weeks on building to 20K plus per month as a business coach, okay? It includes a complete section on client acquisition strategies, okay? And that's at every stage of the coaching business. Comment workshop or DM me workshop, and me and my team will send you the registration link for that. Second, if you want to work through your specific situation with me, it's very limited, but comment session, and we'll schedule a hit 20K plus month strategy session. And that will really be a strategy session because I can't really take a lot of clients at a time, so I'm pretty full. So we'll look at exactly where you're at, what you need to build, and what's the clearest path for you forward. And if I can help you, great. If not, no big deal, right? But at least you'll have the step-by-step plan. You'll be very clear, right? You'll have clarity, and you'll have a very clear path of what you need to do. And if you want my help, great. If not, you'll be able to do it yourself and figure it out yourself. Okay? Obviously, that will take longer, but I can help you get there faster. So DM me a comment session, okay? If you want to schedule that. And third, my book for business coaches covers the complete client acquisition framework from your very first client all the way through scaling to 20K plus months. Comment or DM me book for that information. So comment workshop, session, or book right now. Your first 10 clients are closer than you think. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you watching. I do my best to get on here every day, but as you know, it's been usually if I'm on here, it's because a client rescheduled or I had to move something. And so I've been getting up earlier, a lot earlier, to make sure that I get these done for you guys. Okay, so if there's something specific you want help with or questions, please like, comment, share, whatever. DM me your questions or say, hey, I'm really struggling with this. I want help with this, and I'll put together some content for you. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have an amazing, amazing week. I'm back here in Naples, getting things rolling again down here, and we'll talk to you soon.